welcome to our first video in our expression self-pacing lesson. This is going to be a pretty quick video, and this is about writing variable expressions given a phrase in English, essentially. Okay, so our variable expressions are going to have numbers, they're going to have variables, and they're going to have some operations. And the operations are shown in this chart. So go ahead and take a second to look through those. Okay, I would say most of them are pretty self-explanatory. The ones that you do have to be careful of are sum, difference, product, and quotient. They tend to be the trickiest ones for people because you have to remember which operation goes with which. So sum is for addition, difference is subtraction, product is multiplication, and quotient is division. When we go to do these, we're usually going to go in the order of the words. However, there's a couple key words we need to look for when we're doing those because they're called our turnaround words. It's not an official phrase, but that's what we like to call them. And those are than, from, to, and into. So if you see any of those turnaround words in the phrase you're trying to turn into some math, we actually have to reverse the order of things there. And the last thing before we start some examples, when it says a number, it doesn't mean you just get to choose any number you want. That's when we're going to use a variable. Now, sometimes it'll tell you what variable to use, and if that's the case, you have to use that one. Okay, if it just says a number and it doesn't tell you which one to use, okay, it's your choice. Okay, however, I would definitely stay away from that O and that that O and that L, because they look like a 0 and a 1. Okay, but any other variable besides that should be good. And please note when you do this that we should be using lowercase variables. Okay, so some examples. So remember, we're going to go in the order it says unless we see those turnaround words. So the first one is the sum of 8 and a number. I can see from my chart that sum means addition, and I don't see any of those turnaround words. So this one is just going to be 8 plus x. I'm just going to keep it consistent and use x for every single one of these, but once again, it's your choice what variable you'd like to use. Next one is the product of a number and 7, and the product means multiplication. So what you would probably start out with, and which technically is fine, be something like this, x times 7, where you can use the dot for multiplication. We can throw in these things in some parentheses. Okay, what we cannot say is we can't say x7. That doesn't work. But what we can do, okay, whenever we have a number and a variable that we are multiplying, even though in this order it says a number and 7 and it's x times 7, the more algebraic way of writing that is to say 7x. So this is one of those cases where there's no turnaround words, okay? But because we're multiplying a number and a variable, this is just the better way of doing it, okay? Would we take off points if you did the first thing and said x dot 7 to show x times 7? No. Okay, but we really want to try and get in the habit of writing it in that more algebraic way. The next one is 16 less than a number, and less than is subtraction, but I see that turnaround word of than, okay, which means I need to not just do 16 minus x, I'm going to reverse the order. So in this case, this one is going to be x minus 16. That turnaround word turns around the order that you do this in. Next one is 5 added to a number. Okay, once again, I see a 2. There's our turnaround word. So I'm not going to do 5 plus x. I'm going to do x plus 5. Now, technically, addition is commutative. You could change the order around if you want. So if you said 5 plus x, it's not like it would be totally wrong, but we do want you to focus on looking for those turnaround words and using them appropriately. In letter C, okay, it was really important. We can't reverse subtraction. So that one definitely had to be x minus 16 in that case, which is why we just want you to get used to when you see those turnaround words, okay, turn it around. For E, the difference of a number and 2, difference is subtraction. I do not see any turnaround words here. So this one will be x minus 2. Next one is 8 divided into a number. Into is one of our turnaround words. Okay, because so we're going to reverse the order. Okay, and when we write our division expressions, we are going to use that fraction bar. Okay, to be that a little bit more algebraic here. So we're going to say this one is x divided by 8 by showing x over 8. Okay, twice a number. Okay, that's a specific multiplication, specifically saying twice would be times 2. If it was triple, hopefully we realize that would be times 3. So if it's twice a number, it means 2 times x. And the last one, the quotient of 9 and a number. Quotient is division. No turnaround words here. Okay, so I'm going to put it as 9 divided by x, or 9 over x. Okay, so once again, as you're doing these questions, first of all, identify what operation it's talking about. Okay, see if there's any turnaround words there that you are going to have to reverse the order a bit for. Okay, and if not, you just kind of go in the order it says. The practice worksheet is on the other side of these notes. Okay, and if you are going to end up doing the Aspire to section, those notes will be right below these notes on the same side of the page.